Good evening. This is your weekly IUP-TV news bulletin, broadcasted from Davis Hall. My name is Stoker Wyzorek.
And my name is Molly Cunningham. We bring you stories that are relevant to IUP and the Indiana community. In local news this week, IUP will showcase research collaboration during Research Appreciation Week. A new event is going to be held at the Indiana Regional Medical Center, allowing for IUP, IRMC, and the surrounding community to network. IUP researchers received more than $11 million in research and sponsored activity funds for the academic 2020 to 2021 school year.
An IUP biology professor named Shundong Bai discovered a new species in the Yuxi region of Yunnan, China. Well, just this week, the species is now named after IUP alum Dr. John Kopchik. More news of this discovery and namesake is published in the eLife Journal as of last month. The official name is Yuxisaurus kopchiki. Scientists believe that this animal to have lived 192 to 174 million years ago.
Governor Wolf is seeking to directly invest in Pennsylvania to help families in need. Each family will receive $2,000 to help their families meet essential needs. The funds will be taken from the American Rescue Plan Act. In addition, there is $352 million in funding from the American Rescue Plan Act being invested in Pennsylvania's child care works. Through COVID-19 and looking into the future, the Wolf administration will continue to take significant steps to support child care.
The Pennsylvania government is aiming to reduce clemency waiting times by a number of years for inmates in state prisons. Right now, the process normally takes several years and sometimes decades. Lieutenant Governor John Fetterman, who took office in 2019, got rid of some of the fees regarding this issue and now allows applications to be downloaded online. This action comes in April, which is also known as Second Chance Month.
The White House is seeking $22.5 billion to fund COVID-19 programs, which includes vaccines, therapeutics, and tests. However, the Senate's final agreement was only $10 billion, which is far less than Biden had hoped for. In addition, the Senate did not include $5 billion for global vaccine. The White House is going to continue to work with Congress to get all the funding they need.
We now go to the U.S. Department of Health, which is providing the option of an X gender marker on passports. This milestone will come into effect on April 11th and will support people who do not wish to identify their gender.
With the increasing of conflicts, droughts, floods, and the war in Ukraine, West Africa is facing their worst food crisis in a decade. Children have been suffering, and young girls have even been forced into early marriage or have faced gender-based violence as food have been scarcer. The food prices have increased by 30% in West Africa, while global prices have risen as trade has been interrupted by the war in Ukraine.
The United Nations has a dire message for all people around the world. The organization says the Earth is firmly on track towards an unlivable world. This comes after new scientific-based data showing 40% of emissions coming from Europe and North America, with China contributing the most greenhouse gases of all the countries, despite being in East Asia. Opportunities have been showing themselves recently after the stoppage of Russian oil usage, in the form of more usage of solar and wind farms. Don't leave yet, as Tracy Emiston has a story about Communications Media Film Festival at IUP, as well as a story about how IUP students are conducting their research. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to another episode of Indie Rockers Ball.
Hey, if you're an IUP student looking for a hands-on experience in the TV studio, then IRB is the place for you. Here, the students are fully in charge of hosting live performances for local bands, reviews and educational indies music, guitar lessons, and more. It's a great way to gain experience and do what you love. So how about it? How about joining IRB today? See you then. Bye.
With students' minds hard at work, it wouldn't hurt to give occasional recognition to some of their efforts. Chase Fulmer addresses these endeavors in a story about IUP Research Appreciation Week. Here it is.
Every April, IUP hosts the Research Appreciation Week. It highlights the spirit of innovation and collaboration shared by everyone. Students and faculty get to showcase the research done throughout the year. It's the perfect event to explore research opportunities in any field of study. The Scholars Forum is aimed at showcasing students' research projects. Paige Lutz, a senior in the comm media department, heads to the stage to present her content analysis project on comparing children's television shows and YouTube shows.
So my presentation was a content analysis. I compared modern television shows for children versus modern YouTube shows for children. And the results were pretty interesting. The children's television show had a lot of better production value and a lot better educational content, while the YouTube shows kind of lacked in those two fields. I think my presentation went pretty well though. I was a little bit nervous, but I think everyone really enjoyed watching it. So that's all I could ask for.
A total of 170 graduate and undergraduate students have a chance to share and present their information to a wide variety of scholars from different departments. Olivia Kremen, a junior at IUP, tells us about her poster project.
It was kind of inspired by my cat. When me and my mom were on the couch or something and we were on our phones, he would come up and start trying to bite the edges of them. And so it kind of made us wonder if there was anything the phones were emitting that was irritating him. So that was kind of where this came from, and I did some research and found that crystals could potentially affect the radio frequencies that come off of phones.
With the conclusion of IUP's Research Appreciation Week, students, faculty, and spectators are able to gain a vast amount of knowledge from these presentations to share with the world. This is Chase Fulmer, reporting for IUP-TV News.
Creativity is essential when it comes to writing and producing films for any group of people. IUP undergraduates have the opportunity to show what they can do at the Communications Film Festival, which was held this past Friday here in Davis Hall. Tracy Emiston has the story for us.
Each year at IUP, the Communications Media Department's Student Film Association organizes a free event called the IUP Film Fest. The event simply consists of the production team gathering together, along with other students and professors, to show support and watch a short film that the Student Film Association produced. For this year, the short film is called Separated. Here is Joey Chrisman, director and producer of the entire production, to discuss more about his experience and the process of making the film altogether.
It was an interesting process. It took a while to achieve what we wanted to achieve, especially with the script. We went through like 9 rough drafts, and then with the actual film itself, in the editing process, we went through like 9 rough cuts. So it was a lot of critiquing, a lot of mistakes, and also a lot of time to actually get the short film the way we wanted it.
For anyone interested in getting involved in SFA, Joey Chrisman explains the perks of becoming a member of the association.
The perks of being an SFA is you get to get real-life experience working on a film set. I've been in SFA for 4 years, and I became president this year. But from being in SFA, I got to work with cameras, audio stuff, on-set stuff, so I got to get real-life experience as being a filmmaker. And now, since this year, I was the director, writer, and producer of the film, so I was basically in charge. So I was able to get experience as somebody who's the head of everything. And if you join this club, obviously, you'll get to work your way up to a director, writer, or whatever you want to do, especially if you're interested in becoming a part of the film industry.
Within this year's Film Fest at IUP, a couple well-known guests had a chance to visit and answer Q&A questions from students that want to learn and be a part of the film industry in the future. And here is Daniel Eppeling and Elizabeth Abbott sharing their experience by being a big part of the film.
I think being the protagonist in this was really fun because it's my first time kind of branching into film from being a theater actor. And I think, the opportunity that Joey and everybody gave me for this was just a lot of fun, and I am so appreciative of it. And I think being that main character is it's fun because it not only tests myself and my abilities, but also I can help, bring someone else's kind of idea and vision alive, and I think that's really what captivated that.
So for me, I've never really done voice acting before or film work. So for me, it was really interesting being able to explore both these different sides of the acting field because I'm normally just a theater actor. But in my opinion, being able to just do a voice for a film was just so interesting because with voice acting, you could be whoever you want to be. It doesn't matter what you look like. So in my opinion, that was just really cool to explore.
If any student is currently majoring in communications media, or just happen to enjoy film production, SFA is the right place for you.
SFA is a student-run organization that focuses on filmmaking, making short films, typically between 6 to up to 30 minutes. If you're interested in basically becoming a part of SFA and you have a love for filmmaking or even just an interest in acting, SFA is the organization for you.
For aspiring filmmakers, actors, and actresses, please feel free to join the organization. And this is Tracy Edmiston reporting for IUP-TV News.
We'll be back in a moment to look at how the IUP-TV sports crew carries out their operation when the Crimson Hawks have a home game. After this.
Need a place to study? You should come to the Stapleton Library at IUP. Stapleton has various places for students to get work done. There are individual cubicles and areas if students want to work alone. Also, there are multiple group areas for collaboration. It's a good place to get schoolwork done, and it beats sitting in your room.
Every time the Crimson Hawks have a home game, the IUP-TV sports crew is there to capture it. Our Austin Smith takes us behind the scenes of the local sports production.
While being an active member of the IUP-TV sports crew, students are able to get a hands-on experience with all kinds of media equipment. Not everybody has this opportunity while being a college student. Everybody who was involved in doing the basketball for the men's and women's team this semester had the opportunity to try what they wanted to do. Senior Ian Decker gives his insights while working with the IUP-TV sports crew.
So the different roles and equipment I've used for IUP Sports is I started off doing the football games. I worked on the audio board, which is a good starter because I specialize in audio here at IUP. I've taken all the classes. That's like my main focus. I work as a studio tech here. And then like when I started branching out, they got me on like the parabolic mics. They moved me to Scorebug. That was fun to learn. But I really enjoyed HeroCam because I'm not used to working with the camera equipment. I do a lot of stuff for like IUP-TV, but like I'm always like behind the scenes, like not actually doing any kind of cinematography or anything like that. So it was like really nice to actually like, learn and finally get my hands on.
By operating cameras, audio boards, and communicating with the director through the headsets, students are able to get the real-world feeling. Chris Barber is the head advisor for the IUP-TV sports team. Chris Barber gives his thoughts on what the IUP-TV sports crew experience does for this.
They learn valuable information, techniques, skills, learning how to operate cameras, switching equipment, audio equipment, and working in a live sports environment. That's really a key thing for them to experience. Knowing that there's a potential for thousands of people to be watching this live stream, operating under pressure, and really bringing the whole production together.
IUP-TV sports crew currently consists of 32 members. The coverage of sports varies from basketball and football to baseball and more. IUP-TV Sports is not only to comply with NCAA requirements like providing their own audio and video connectors, but also to provide opportunities for students. Not only do the students get hands-on experience, but they get that satisfaction of people watching what they are producing. In the end, the students who get involved in more experiences like these will end being more prepared for their future careers. This is Austin Smith reporting for IUP-TV News.
It's no secret that changes to IUP's dining are being felt gravely by students on and off campus. James Geddes has a story on the specifics of these new measures.
COVID-19 has changed many of things in society. One of those is the dining system on campus. There has been several changes this semester at North Dining Hall, Crimson Cafe, The Hub, and Folger Dining Hall. The major changes to dining at IUP has been the closures of options The Fireplace, Burger Studio, Cheese Please, Einstein Bagels, and the Put Pod due to limited staffing and sustainability issues. These changes have affected the ways that students dine on campus. IUP students Michael McGrath and Ethan Walkowitz describe how the closures have affected them and their daily dining styles.
I used to go to Cheese Please a little bit more. Obviously that's closed, so that kind of sucks. But honestly, other than that, not really. No change really. I just go to Northmore, I guess now. The fact that it's unlimited food. You can just get whatever you want and however much you want of it. I like the pizza a lot. I like the burgers a lot. They're usually solid options. It's kind of just been the same. I don't know. I really didn't eat a lot on campus last semester, so I guess I'm eating more on campus now that things are getting back to normal.
The closures have affected me greatly because I used to go to Crimson a lot because I live in Stevenson and that was closer, so I could just walk there, and now I have to walk all the way to the hub, and that's pretty much a struggle. And there were some really good places like Burger Studio and Cheese Please that I really liked that they got rid of. I adapted pretty well because at least Grillworks and Mashville have some decent options that I can eat.
Despite these many closures to the dining options on IUP's campus, IUP has still found a way to make new options for students and adapt.
North Dining Hall is featuring favorite items from The Fireplace that was originally at Crimson Cafe. They are also serving made-to-order pasta, stir-fry, walking tacos, and much more. North Dining offers a buffet-style selection. On some nights throughout the semester, North Dining Hall has premium-themed dining events, offering students more variety and styles of food. Mashville moved from Crimson Cafe to the Hub, replacing Revolve Kitchen. The Hub will also offer grab-and-go breakfast options, as well as the campus favorite Chick-fil-A. The Pod Back Lunch program has moved to Crimson Cafe, along with candy and favorite items from the pod. This is a fast option for students who want to grab food on the run. Starbucks and Bento Sushi remain open at Crimson. The dining changes are fully underway and have been running smooth throughout the semester. As COVID goes away and our community returns to normal, we should expect more changes in the future.
Make sushi every day. Make it an everyday thing. I feel like it's since it's only certain days a week, everybody swarms to sushi, and I never managed to get any of it. So
just bring back the pod to keep open till 1 because when everything else closes at 7:30 and I want a midnight snack, nothing's open, and that kind of stinks. Folgers is okay, but sometimes it's really crowded, so at least the pod isn't that crowded during the late night too. So
this has been James Geddes reporting for IUP-TV News.
Ramadan is a month-long Islamic tradition for 2022. It begins in April and ends in May. Jeffrey McKissick has the details.
Allahu Akbar.
The month is April. For some people in Indiana, this might be an ordinary time. For others, this is a very special time of year when both Muslims and Christians experience fasting. Ramadan is a holy month when Muslims practice fasting. It falls on the 9th month of the Islamic calendar. Fasting is one of the 5 pillars of Islam. During Ramadan, Muslims do not eat or drink during daylight. Meet Ari, a second-year student studying composition and applied linguistics.
Well, every single Muslim in the world celebrate Ramadan the same thing. In the same way, in a way that they are going to escalate their frequency and quality and quantity of their prayers, their good deeds and everything. So that's also applies to me, where I am going to pray more intensively, recite Quran more. So that's basically the general thing that Muslims around the world do around Ramadan.
While the holy month of Ramadan has just begun, Roman Catholic Christians have been preparing for Easter. They have been fasting through Lent, a 40-day season where people commemorate Jesus fasting in the desert. For Christians, they choose to give up foods or hobbies that they enjoy, such as sugary foods or video games. According to a Lifeway poll, about a quarter of Americans observe Lent. Fasting during this holy time also requires some Christians to abstain from meat every Friday of the week, often turning to fish. My sister, Madeline Turley, explains how she is fasting.
This Lent, I will do some prayer, some fasting, and some almsgiving. So my husband and I are spending some extra time in prayer during Lent and some extra time reading scripture. I will be fasting from extra sweets and desserts and such, and fasting from social media a bit by limiting my use on social media. And I'll be giving some extra money to our parish during the collection each Sunday.
Roman Catholics follow the liturgical calendar, in which shows the days they need to fast. On the other hand, Muslims tend to follow the lunar calendar. In a typical spring and summer, Muslims fast between 12 to 16 hours, depending on when the sun sets. The long hours of fasting presents a challenge for Muslims practicing Ramadan in the United States. Omar, from Egypt, is a student at IUP. After living here for over 5 years, he explains how he adapted his lifestyle to Ramadan.
It's one of the very unique, holy, and special months for Muslims, so we'll be waiting for it to happen.
Indiana is also a home for Muslim professionals who work in different sectors from education to medicine. This diversity can also be seen in the food they offer to break their fast.
So I try to eat like just some salad and dates with any type of juice, and then in the night we have a longer prayer that would last for like an hour or something, that is not common outside of Ramadan. So we do not have to eat a lot in order to be able to pray for that hour. And then when we come back, we'll probably eat something else. And then right before we start the fasting in the next day, let's say 10-15 minutes, we also try to eat something light so we can be able to like run errands and do work during fasting.
Today there are roughly around 24.9% of the Muslim population in the world. They are spread out in countries like Asia, Sub-Saharan Africa, and the Middle East. Here is Ari's take on adjusting his practices in a different country.
It's really difficult, to be honest, especially when my wife and my family is not here and I live alone. I mean, like, this is my second time having Ramadan here, so I'll be fine.
Although it may be difficult to refrain from comfort foods, there are helpful tips to guide you to a healthier life, such as drinking enough water, avoiding exercise, and eating foods rich in carbs before fasting. No matter where you are or what religion you may practice, fasting is observed all over the world. My name is Jeffrey McKissick, reporting for IUP-TV News. IUP football has started practicing for the coming season. Our Tyan Bell tells us how it's going.
The spring weather is finally here, so you know what that means. Spring football is back. With a shorter than expected ending to the 21 season, the boys are eager to be out on the field again. Director of Defensive Player Personnel and Defensive Assistant Declan Peer talks about what the additions to the coaching staff bring to this spring season.
So we had many new exciting things happening this spring. We got a transfer quarterback, Max Sexton from Pitt State. You know, that's one of the most competitive D2 football conferences out there. He threw for 2,700 yards. He was a starter there. We got him with 2 years left. He started there as a freshman, so that's something new. From a coaching staff perspective, we had Zach Johnson come from Charleston. His dad actually coached here in the 90s, went to 2 national championships, I think maybe more than that. Was here for 10 years. It's where Zach actually was born here. He came from Charleston. He's going to be the co-DC and linebackers coach here, with Smitty still retaining co-DC roles to the other one. Then we had Larry Wilson come from Cal. He was the wide receiver coach and special teams coordinator there for 17 years. We played against them last year, and he came over here to be our OC and quarterbacks coach. We're excited about that. Then also on the offensive staff, we actually had Brett Bryce, came from Ohio U, was a graduate assistant there for our wide receivers job. And he's actually from Indiana, so he knows about the program, knows all about us here. He was born and raised here, grew up watching IUP football. Additionally, we had Jeff Arnold, who was a GA last year, who was an assistant O-line coach to become our running backs coach this spring, so we're excited about that. He was an All-American here, played here for 5 years, was here on the 2017 team that went 13-1 and won the region, so he knows all about our program and has grown up in it. We also added Demetrius Wilson as our D-line coach, who actually starts today. He's from Rowan. We're really excited to have him. And this is like the first time in over almost 3 years where we've had a full, complete staff. So we're really excited about all those things ahead of us.
The Hawks are finally able to return to the field, put those pads back on, and do what they do best. IUP's own running back Vinny Sirianni and wide receiver Nolan Labuda share what they are looking forward to most for spring ball.
Well, I'm excited because it's my first spring ball. I'm excited to be out there with all the guys and competing and working with the new coaching staff.
Just excited to get back out there after an injury, back to competing at a high level and learning from the great new coaching staff.
With adding a new quarterback and new members of the coaching staff, IUP football is off to a fantastic start for their spring ball. Come out and support your Hawks as they play in their spring game on April 22nd at 6:30. I am Tyann Bell reporting from IUP-TV News.
This is IUP-TV News.
All communications interns need to apply for an internship by Friday, April 15th. You can do this by visiting the Com Interns blog on IUP's website and filling out the form provided.
Theater by the Grove and the Lively Arts are hosting the New Works Festival today and Friday at 7:30 p.m., Saturday at 3 p.m., and Sunday at 2 p.m. Tickets can be purchased before each show in the Performing Arts Center lobby.
That's all we have this week. Tune in next week for more stories on IUP-TV News. My name is Molly Cunningham.
And my name is Stoker Wyzorik. Come back here for more stories about subjects like small businesses and the upcoming Easter holiday. We'll see you next week, Indiana.